Hello, today's video is on IELTS reading and I've chosen the question type matching headings. Now just like the image portrays, quite a few students find matching headings a daunting task. Now yes, I understand why a lot of students find this challenging, but relax, like all other videos, I've got you covered in this as well. So I will share top tricks that will help you solve this question easily. But before that, it is important that we understand a bit about this particular question type, which is matching headings. So first let's analyze. I'm going to pose a few questions on screen for you, and if your answer to any of these questions or to more than one is a yes, then this video is for you. Do you skip this matching heading question? This means if this comes as the first set of questions in a paragraph or in a text, do you skip this and go to the next set of questions first and then come back to the matching headings later? Okay, second question is, do you read the entire text to be able to match the headings? Or is time management a problem just because of matching headings? Or if at all there is matching headings in a particular passage, do you find it challenging to finish the questions on time? Or do you have a strong fear or dislike towards this question type? Very often I see students frown the moment they see this question. Do you fall in this category? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then yes, I'm going to discuss the techniques to help you crack matching headings. Let's get started. First off, we know that we have a list of headings. I have taken an example here for us to discuss this particular question type. Along with the list of headings, which is what you have to work on, you're also given a list of sections. Now these sections mentioned as A to G are the paragraph numbers. So this particular passage has around 7 different paragraphs starting with section A all the way up to section G. And here we have around 10 headings. So you'll always find that the list of headings, you have more number of headings when compared to the number of paragraphs you have to match. Now, another thing is, in this particular example that I've taken, there is no example done. Now in some questions, there is clearly an example given to you. For instance, maybe for section C, they would have already given it as an example and answered it as 5, which means it is the list of heading number 5, the heading number 5 that matches paragraph C. So if an example is already done, then you know what your first step should be. Strike out the section, which means you will not be reading and wasting your time by looking at section C, and you also strike out the heading that is matched to section C as an example, which means you don't have to consider that heading at all. But in case you're given, for example, the one that you saw, in case you have a question like this where there is no example done, of course we have to consider all the headings and we have to read through all the sections to complete this answer, because we have to here answer question number 1 up to question number 7. So 1, you have list of headings, 2, you have the list of paragraphs, and you have to match accordingly, which means onto your answer sheet against question number 1, you will be writing whichever this Roman numerical that matches. For instance, if the answer to section A is getting back to basics, against question number 1, we do not write getting back to basics. Instead, we choose to write this number here. So in my answer sheet, I write number 2. If the answer to question number 2, which is section B, is old methods of transport, I write it as 5. So keep that in mind. This is important. So we have a list of headings and the sections that we have to consider, and we also have the paragraphs in the passage. This passage that we've taken is called as the Magic of 𝐿TSRe. And we have paragraphs starting from A, B, C. It goes to the second page from paragraph D, E, F up to G. So this roughly counts to around, let's say, 750 to 800 words. So do you think it's easy to read all the 800 words and match the questions and solve 1 to 7? Remember, 1 to 7 based on this passage is just one set of questions. You have a remaining set of questions because for each passage, you have around 13 questions to answer. And based on this passage, which is Magic of 𝐿TSRe, we have the first 7 questions to answer, which is matching the headings. And we have the remaining up to 13, which could be 1 or 2 different other question types. So just taking a long time to complete match the headings alone will not help. So what can we do? What if I tell you, you can save your time because you don't have to read the entire passage at all? Would you believe me? I know it's a difficult thing to accept, but I'm sure by the end of the video, you'll try this out. Now, for anyone who tries this out, I would say try for a couple of different passages and master this technique. For those of you out there who are very quick with reading and you would barely take a minute or two to read through the entire passage and understand it clearly, if you're a voracious reader and into the habit of reading any kind of text, then yes, I would say feel free to read the entire passage and match the answers. But for all the others, this is going to be a blessing. Let's see how. So the billion-dollar question here is, would you be reading the headings first, or will you be reading the passage first? Where would you go to? The headings or the passage? Okay, now I can tell you that let's not waste time reading the headings, because throughout solving the next couple of questions of match the headings, we will have to go through the list of headings a couple of times. So you don't really have to waste your time the first few seconds reading the headings. Instead, I would recommend that you go directly to the passage. And let's see how that can be done. So here I've just taken the first paragraph of the passage. You can see it is paragraph A, and we have the 10 list of headings here. Now technically what most students do is read from the first line to the last till the end of the paragraph, then read the list of headings and try and match. Now once they find an answer, they read the entire second paragraph, then the third, fourth and up to paragraph G. But like I said, there is a technique that you can use, and without reading the entire paragraph, you can actually solve the questions. If it's hard to believe, let's try it out. Now here, it's the same paragraph, but the bit in the middle, I've completely hidden it from your view. So now, all that the two of us can read are the first few lines, which is one sentence in this context, and the last 1 or 2 sentences. Anything in between is not readable. Now, if I say that by reading the first 1 or 2 lines and the last 1 or 2 lines, you will still be able to match the headings. Yes, it's true. Let's try that. Let's go through the first few lines, or the only lines that we can see on screen here. It says, shepherds of the North Caucasus region of Europe were only trying to transport milk the best way they knew how, in leather pouches strapped to side donkeys, when they made a significant discovery. So this is line 1. Now let's go all the way to the last part of the paragraph. This unexpected development, when they made a significant discovery, unexpected development, was a blessing in disguise. The new drink, which acquired the name 𝐿TSRe, turned out to be a health tonic, a naturally preserved dairy product, and a tasty addition to our culinary repertoire. Okay, so we know that they made something significant, they discovered something significant. It was a blessing in disguise, and it was an unexpected development, and it is a health tonic. So keeping these ideas in mind, let's go through the list of headings. A unique sensory experience? No. Getting back to basics? Definitely not. The gift that keeps on giving? No. Variations in alcohol content? There's no mention of alcohol content here. You might be worrying, what if it's there in the middle of the paragraph? Don't worry. Old methods of transportation? Of course, they spoke about transportation here, trying to transport milk the best way they knew. But if you look at the last line here, they're not focusing on transportation. They're focusing on what they have been transporting. The milk, a significant discovery, and how this became a blessing in disguise and this became a new drink. So the milk becomes a new drink. Culinary applications? No. Making 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿? Maybe. A fortunate accident? Maybe. 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿 gets a makeover? No. Ways to improve taste? No. Now we have two headings here. One, making 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿, and a fortunate accident. Making 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿. Did they mention of how you have to make it? They just said that they were carrying it in leather pouches. They made a significant discovery. It was a blessing in disguise and it became a new drink. But how to make it is not mentioned. So we can eliminate making 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿. Now the answer is a fortunate accident. Why? Because look at this line. A blessing in disguise. Accident but fortunate. Okay? A negative word like accident with a positive word. Fortunate accident. Blessing in disguise. So this is not something that they intended to find out, but by mistake they found this. Right? So the right answer here is a fortunate accident. Did we read the entire paragraph? Not really. We just referred the first few lines and the last few lines. Then we ran through the list of headings and we matched the best that is possible. Now because here we are 100% sure that this is the answer, we can strike out number 8 and we need not consider this at all for any other paragraph. In case you're confused between two options, that's when you need to make sure that you consider it for any other paragraph as well. Let's try this method on another paragraph. Look at this. I've already struck out a fortunate accident because that's what we solved for paragraph A. Now we're looking at paragraph B. I've hidden the part in the middle and I'm just showing you the first few lines and the last few lines. Now let's read and find out. Although their exact origin remains a mystery, we do know that yeast-based kefir grains have always been at the root of the kefir phenomenon. These grains are capable of a remarkable feat. Towards the end, consequently, a bigger problem for most kefir drinkers is not where to source new kefirs, not where to source new kefir grains, but what to do with the ones they already have, which means they have excess kefir grains. They don't have to worry about where to get it from. They already have a lot of excess kefir grains. So what do they do with the ones that they have in excess, in abundance? Let's find out. A unique sensory experience. Remember, we're reading it for the second time now. Getting back to basics. The gift that keeps on giving. Because we have the word excess here, that could be a possibility. Alcohol content, no. Methods of transportation, no. Culinary applications, no. Making 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿, no. Image makeover, improve taste. So yes, because we have in excess, keeps on giving, keeps being there, abundance, in excess. So the answer to paragraph B is number 3. Now do you believe that you can actually solve this without reading the entire paragraph? To strengthen this belief and this technique, let's do one more paragraph. Look at paragraph C. I've again covered the bit in between and I'm showing you just the first few and the last lines, and we've already got to answer, so we're striking it out. We're not even considering those headings at all for the next paragraph, which is paragraph C. Let's go through the paragraph. The great thing about kefir is that it does not require a manufacturing line in order to be produced. Grains can be simply thrown in a batch of milk for ripening to begin. The mixture then requires a cool, dark, whatever. Mixture would get lightly shaken. After about 24 hours, the yeast cultures in the grains have multiplied, devoured most of the milk sugars. Final product is then ready for human consumption. Which is the final product here? Kefir. Kefir is ready for human consumption, manufacturing, making of kefir. Okay? So though we cannot see what is in between, let's look at the list of headings again. Now this, basics, variations, transportation, culinary applications, but this could be a possibility. Makeover, improve, no. So definitely number 7 is our answer here. So this is how you can actually, without reading the entire paragraph, still manage to match the headings. Now I leave it to you to solve the remaining questions. Try out this technique. See, here on screen I've struck out the answers that we've already got, and I have the remaining paragraphs here, which are paragraph D to G, and try and match the headings by ignoring whatever is given in between. Just read the first few lines and the last few lines in a paragraph and match it to the headings here. And I would love to see your responses. So please do not forget to share your answers as comments in this video. Hope this video was helpful. Let me know how you found it. Thank you.
MedCity International Academy. Trusted hands forever.